good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, what do you do? So today I'm coming at y'all with a very highly requested video. Okay, I'm gonna be dropping tips on everything that I think you need to know for flight attendant training. There was also a lot of people in the comments that said that they've received their CJO, so I just want to say congratulations, you made it. And if you've been thinking about becoming a flight attendant, let me tell you, this is the best time to apply. Like, most of the airlines are hiring to the end of the year. I know my airline been hiring nonstop, and I'm like, yes, come on, seniority, run me my line. But yeah, so I just wanted to say congratulations to everybody that has received their CJOs. Hopefully my videos helped in some way, shape, or form, and hopefully I'll see you in the skies. I'm gonna go ahead and get straight into the video now. You guys comment down below if there's anything that I missed, any questions, comments, concerns, because y'all know that I respond to all of my comments. Okay, so I want to touch on a few things that you need before training first. But after you receive your CJO, you'll be given a date for training. It's usually like a couple weeks out, so it'll give you plenty time to prepare, because trust me, you're gonna need it. And also your airline is gonna be emailing you a very long packet as well, just to prepare you for training, you know, tell you the different things that you're gonna need, things to study. It'll give you a little packing list as well, different supplies you may need, pens, pencils, highlighters, flashcards. Flashcards is a really big one, you guys. You will definitely have homework and things that you need to memorize before you even get to training, so I highly recommend that you start studying as soon as you get that packet. This includes things like airline terminology, military time, airport codes, and they might even throw some aircraft information in there as well. It was a lot of things that we had to memorize by day one, because they told us as soon as we walked in the door we will be taking a test, y'all. So this is very important to get everything that you need to study down. You also need to make sure that you are saving money before training, because a lot of the times these trainings are not paid, so that is something to take into consideration. Also, just do your best to try and clear your mind before you come, you guys, because you're going to be learning a lot of information in a very short period of time, so it's best that you come, you know, with a clean slate. Next thing I want to touch on is training paid. Usually not, like I said. I think Delta is the only one that has paid training, and even that I think is a very small amount. But even though you don't get paid for training, you usually get per diem or a food card, and I think pretty much every airline gives you a bonus at the end, so that helps a lot. But yeah, make sure you take into consideration all of your expenses at home, okay, because the bills due now, not later. Now let's get into clothing that you need to pack, you guys. I got a little list right here. You will need about 3 to 4 blouses, 3 to 4 pencil skirts or slacks, whichever one you like to wear, maybe 2 to 3 dresses if you want to switch it up, or if you prefer wearing dresses over skirts and pants, about 3 pairs of pantyhose, 1 belt, 2 closed-toe heels, 1 pair of flats, a pair of sneakers, a solid colored sweater because it's going to be very cold in the training room. Definitely loungewear if you're just chilling in a room or chilling with your friends studying. Going out attire, whether that's like everyday jeans, crop tops, going out, just whatever you like to wear, you guys. 9 times out of 10 your training is not going to be in your home city, so that means that you're going to be exploring. You know, you might step out for a little bit, maybe 1 business suit. I know sometimes like some airlines have days that you have to dress up like that. They never asked us to, but your airline might, so just have that business suit just in case. And then last but not least, some like basic jewelry. Oh, also some miscellaneous things you're gonna need: laundry detergent, a laundry bag, and rolls of quarters to do your laundry in the hotel room. They do not provide payment for that, but there will be a washer and dryer on the premises most likely. The next thing is toiletries. Of course you'll need those, but I actually bought a lot of my toiletries once I got to training, just because I didn't want to carry all of those full-size bottles in my luggage like on the way there. But yeah, y'all already know the basic toiletries: toothbrush, toothpaste, face wash, lotion, all that good stuff. You can like wait and Uber to Target once you get there or something. Next thing I want to touch on is food. That's another thing that I don't really recommend you worry about buying until you get to training. I don't know too many airlines that provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner, which is why I said it's very important to save your money. I do know some training facilities have a cafeteria where they provide a couple meals for you, or at your hotel you might get free breakfast there, free lunch, however they do it. It could be just like my airline where they provide you with a food card card, and there was plenty of restaurants at the hotel that we were already staying at, and these restaurants provided discounts for the trainees, of course, but I would still recommend going to the grocery store, you guys, because if you're eating out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, trust me, that is racking up even with all of them discounts applied. And when I tell y'all, plenty of people ran out of money on that food card before training was over. That's why it is very important that you still go to the grocery store and have a few meals in your room. Not only was there restaurants inside of the hotel, there were restaurants all over the area. So when I tell y'all people was splurging, now some examples of little meals that you could buy are tuna packets, oatmeal packets, fruit, cereal, noodles, turkey meat, bread to make a sandwich, chips, granola bars. What I did to save money was I went out to the grocery store, and then I had breakfast and lunch in my room, and then I went out to eat for dinner time. I also highly recommend you guys bringing a couple snacks to class to prevent falling asleep, because trust me, it's gonna happen. Okay, so now let's get into the actual workload, what you're gonna be working on at training. Let me just tell you guys right now, it is not gonna be easy, okay? It might be easier for some than others, just depending on, you know, when the last time you were in school was, but at the end of the day, everybody has to learn the same stuff, and it is a lot. Training is usually 6 days a week, 8 to 9 hours a day across the board, and it moves extremely fast. This is why it's very important not to get behind, you guys. You need to be studying every single day after class. You're gonna have weekly tests, sometimes twice a week, and these tests are not just dead giveaways, you guys. Like, you actually have to study. The tests are gonna be a combination of written tests and emergency drills. For all of the written tests, you usually have to make around a 90 or above. You get one retake, and if you don't make a 90 after that, you're excused from training. You also usually don't get more than like 2 retakes. So let's say that you had to retake 2 tests, and then you end up having to retake a 3rd one. There's no retake, you're going home. What kind of things are you going to be tested on? There is aircraft terminologies, airport codes, military time, policies, safety protocols, aircraft types, emergency equipment, medical emergencies, situational awareness, just a whole lot of. Now let's talk about the emergency drills. You usually get 3 tries on these drills, and they have to be like perfect, like down to a T. If you miss one word, that is a retake. Some examples of these are arming and disarming your door, opening and closing it. Also, the emergency evacuation drills, you're going to learn how to evacuate an entire aircraft in 90 seconds, so be prepared for that. I also didn't mention the safety drills, like learning how to do CPR, learning how to use the AED, how to help people if they're choking, if they have a stroke, just all kind of stuff, you guys. Be prepared to become a medical professional. So now that I kind of gave you guys a general gist on the workload, the next thing that I want to go into is study tips. The #1 supply that I recommend for studying, you guys, is flashcards. I cannot stress this enough. Flashcards saved my life. We had to memorize airport codes and airline terminology before we even walked in the door, and if you've never been a flight attendant before, most of this is going to be new to you. So I would literally just put the abbreviation on the front, spell it out on the back, boom, on to the next. Also, be sure to use colored pens, markers, highlighters. Like, just make your notes cute, you guys. You might not have time to do it in class because they go so fast, but once you're released from class and you go back to your room to study, it definitely helps to have those color-coded notes. Go back and rewrite your notes completely if it's something that you're really struggling on, and yeah, just make sure that it's legible for you. It's very, very important that you guys study every single day right after class when it's fresh on your brain. Don't go downstairs and hang out. Don't go to the pool first. None of that. Just get your studying out of the way. The next tip that I have is to know your weaknesses, you guys. You're usually going to struggle on one of the 2 tests, whether that is the written test or the drills. I'm personally a really good test taker, but when it comes to standing up and doing drills in front of people, that is not me. And even with those drills, you guys, let me tell you, at least like 80 to 90% of the class is going to freeze up or forget a step. The instructors actually gave us a really helpful tips for those drills, and that was to make an aircraft door on your hotel door. Basically, like I said, you're gonna have multiple drills on arming and disarming your door, opening and closing it, all of the emergency evacuations. So to better familiarize yourself with the aircraft door, what you're gonna do is take a few post-it notes and you're gonna stick them right on your hotel door right here, and you're gonna pretend that that is your aircraft door. So you'll have a post-it for the door handle, you'll have one for the arming and disarming lever, you'll have one for the window. Make your hotel door look exactly like your aircraft door, and go over your drills every single night, you guys. I can't stress this enough. It helped me so much. It's extremely important that you learn that aircraft door, and you might not get as much practice as you'd like while in class, so hey, you better make it work. The next tip that I have is to simply find your studying style. Do you work better alone or with friends? For me, it was a combination of both, and I would highly recommend that you make friends. I had about 5 friends that I talked to in training on a daily basis. You know, we had our little group chat, but 2 of us were introverts. So what does that mean? The 3 other girls would meet up immediately after class and begin studying together, but as for me and the other introvert, we would have to like come back to our room and kind of like take it all in by ourselves first. I tend to retain information better when I have some quiet time first, so what I would do is go back up to my room, rewrite my notes if I need to, speak it out loud if I need to. I do that probably for about 2 hours, and then I would come downstairs and meet the rest of the girls. But other people tend to retain more information by studying in groups, so yeah, just find out what studying style works for you. And then the last study tip that I have for you guys is not to get discouraged. It's very normal to feel like you're under a lot of pressure in training, so it's very important to stay positive even when you mess up. Sorry y'all, housekeeping had knocked on the door. But like I was saying, there may be written tests that you have to do a retake on. There may be certain drills that you have to redo because you froze up or you forgot something. Just don't dwell over your mistakes for too long because it can cause a ripple effect. Just brush it off, study harder the next go round, and jump right back in it. I told you guys my weakness was drills, and like even when you're practicing them in class, it's still in front of the entire class. That's why it's super important to practice your door drills and all of your drills really when you're in your room. Another way to stay positive is, like I said, if you can, make sure that there's nothing going on at home, because to be honest, you're not gonna have a lot of time to laugh and kiki with everybody back home. Like, you're literally gonna be in class all day, and after that you're gonna be studying all night. It's gonna be some long nights for sure, early mornings. Just stay prayed up and learn to endure. And one thing that I didn't touch on, you guys, all training classes are not just AM to PM. You might have some afternoon to night classes, you might have some overnight classes. It just depends on what you get stuck with. So your class time might be a different time than the one that you're used to if you work a 9 to 5. So that's just something else to keep in mind. When it comes to flight attendant training, it is 24 hours. It is not just like 7 to 3, like, no. So the next topic that I want to go into is like behavioral expectations, I guess. Flight attendant training is very similar to like a boot camp, and just remember that you're being watched at all times by the instructors. Even when you're chilling at the hotel, even when you're going out with friends, you are still representing the airline. So let's go over some things that could possibly get you sent home, okay? The first one is punctuality. If you are 1 minute late, you can get sent home, and I believe that's for every airline across the board. I repeat, if you're late to class or if you're late to your shuttle by just 1 minute, that is grounds for being sent home, you guys. Punctuality is so important in this industry. There was actually a guy in my training class who, you know, everybody loved, all the instructors loved, but I think probably around the 3rd week of training, he forgot to set his alarm, you guys. As a matter of fact, y'all, be about 5 to 10 minutes early, because to be early is to be on time. The second way you can be sent home is by not following basic directions. Let's say that they tell you to submit a certain form by midnight. If you don't do it, you're being sent home. There's no room for like a, oh, I forgot. Like, they take basic directions very seriously. The next one is uniform compliance and required items. These are things that they check on a daily basis, and usually for the first couple of days, they'll like let you know like, oh, your dress is too short, or this is not the right color belt, you don't have the right shoes, and then they'll give you a couple days to correct that. And if you have to go out and buy something, you just have to go out and buy something. But if they've already told you about it once and you come back to class and this certain thing is not fixed, you're going home. Also, your required items, these are things like your work tablet, your ID, a wristwatch, you know, different things like that that you have to wear every single day. And if you end up forgetting something back in your room, you can be sent home. So another thing you can get sent home for is drama, y'all, and trust and believe, it will be drama. It's literally like a high school TV show, you guys, and this is for all airlines across the board. Like, when I used to watch flight attendant training videos, they always mentioned that it was like some kind of soap opera drama going on, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, y'all was not lying. It can get very messy, so all I have to say about this is mind your business and remember why you came, which is literally for a job. Don't get too buddy-buddy with people, okay, because you don't really know them, you don't really know how they move, and trust me, there will be some snitches out there. So if you decide to act a fool, just know that it's going to get around to the instructors one way or another. Being in drama is very unprofessional in a job setting, and it lets them know that you are not what they were looking for, so you will be dismissed. Might be a lot going on at your training, it might not, but at the end of the day, just make sure that you stay focused. Last thing that I have that you can be sent home for is sleeping. Let's be realistic, you guys. Class is about 8 to 9 hours a day. You're not always learning exciting content 24/7, so yeah, you're gonna be tempted to fall asleep. And if the instructor is teaching and walking around and they happen to catch you with your eyes closed, you might get dismissed. I actually struggle with this a lot because I have the 6 a.m. class, and if y'all know me, y'all know that your girl is a night shift worker, okay? Like, even before me being a flight attendant, I work nights, you know, at my old job. Even now for my reserve period, I bid PM times, you know, so waking up early has just never been my thing. So I had to find a way to make it work. Get your caffeine if you need it. I had my coffee every single day. Some people was doing like monsters and stuff. I don't do all of that, but find whatever you need to find so that you don't fall asleep. So the next thing that I want to touch on is picking bases. Usually they'll automatically assign you your base, or they'll let you choose, and you'll be awarded by seniority. Sorry y'all, I've been changing positions in this chair. Yeah, so let's say for example your airline has 5 bases. They'll let you list the one you want first and then go down from there, and then whatever seniority number that you get, or social security, something like that. It kind of differs between each airline, but they do it in a way to where, you know, you're gonna get what you want based off of your number. As far as transferring bases, I know that that varies with each airline, so you might have to wait like 3 to 6 months, or if the base is like super senior, you might have a harder time getting in there. So that really just depends on the airline, you guys. But I hope and pray that all of you get your home base, you know, if you're able to live at home and not commute. Ooh, child, you is blessed. Okay, so boom, once you've passed all your written tests, once you've passed all your drills, you know, you done cried your blood, sweat, and tears, congratulations, you got your wings. Now you get to attend the graduation ceremony. I know they used to open it to family and friends like back before COVID. Unfortunately for my class, it was closed to family and friends, you know, due to COVID, but they still allowed you to like FaceTime your people and do whatever you wanted to do, take pictures, all of that stuff. Now keep in mind, after your ceremony, that doesn't mean that you're hired just yet, because you have one more piece of training that I actually didn't mention earlier, but you still have your OE. What is an OE? This is your operating experience. For your OE, you're going to be actually operating a real flight as if you are a working flight attendant. This is going to be all the way from the beginning to the end of your shift. So you're going to be checking into the crew room. You're going to meet your crew. You know, y'all going to do whatever check-in stuff y'all do with your airline. You're going to walk up to the gate, get checked off. You're going to get on the plane, do your pre-flight checks. You're going to do your brace positions, going to get up, do service. Like, you're walking through every single thing that you would on any regular operating flight. You guys, another thing that I totally forgot to touch on was announcements. Just because at my airline we don't have to memorize our announcements but I totally forgot, you know, for the ones that do, that'll probably be one of the things that you have to memorize before training. You know, if your airline requires you guys to memorize them, make sure you have those down. And if you don't have to know it by the first day of training, you'll definitely have to know them by your OE most likely. So they'll be listening for those during your OE as well. But yeah, y'all, that'll be the second part of your training, and most likely it'll be in a different city than the one that you guys trained in. So they'll fly you out for that, and you might have to sit in a hotel for a couple of days. It just depends on when they schedule your OE, which is also why it's very important to save your money, because you don't know how much time is going to pass between you completing training and doing your OE. So something to keep in mind, you know, when it comes to food. Y'all still gotta eat, still gotta pay your bills, period. But okay, so boom, so you're finally done with your training, you're finally done with your OE. Congratulations, because you are now officially a flight attendant. After your OE, they'll fly you home. You'll have a couple of days to get your stuff together, and then boom, day one is there. Of course, if you're gonna be commuting to your base, then I would highly recommend you fly in the day before, or maybe a couple of days before, just to be situated at your crash pad, you know, and you know where you're going in the terminal, all of that good stuff. Figure out where your crew room is. That's another big thing that you need to do before day one. If you do live in your base and you're driving, figure out how parking works. And yeah, just do everything in your power to make sure that you're prepared, because once you're released to line, it's like you're pretty much on your own, and there's gonna be a lot of things that you have to figure out by yourself. This is not to scare anybody, but usually during training, all they tell you is what you need to know to be successful at your job. They don't tell you anything as far as like finding crash pads and all of that stuff. That is not a requirement of the airline. So I would highly recommend that you keep in touch with some of your friends from training. And also, at least at my airline, I was assigned like a little mentor. There was a girl assigned to me at my base. She had been a flight attendant for a couple of years, so she like texted me out of the blue. I don't know how their little mentorship program works, but when I tell you guys, she came in clutch so many times. Like, they're actually there, you know, they want to help you. So that really helped me. But for the most part in this job, like, you just kind of learn as you go, you guys. So I believe that's all the tips that I have for you guys today as far as flight attendant training. Hopefully I touched on all of your questions, and if not, like I said, comment down below because I will respond to every single comment. Other than that, you guys, I am sending my best of wishes. I hope and pray that you're able to endure and have fun and just prepare for the best job of your life, okay? I promise you. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video.